How many animals did Moses take on the ark? If you said two of each kind, your brain just lied to your face. Moses did not have an ark. No, it did. You just fell for the Moses illusion. This is a cognitive trap that you encounter every single day. Why is your mind so ruthlessly deceptive? You're not being lazy or careless. You are actually a biological efficiency masterpiece. Your brain is constantly performing a good enough pass to save energy. It prioritizes speed and efficiency over raw accuracy. As long as a concept seems appropriate, your mind moves on. It does not process every single word deeply. That would simply slow you down too much. We expect our memories to be reliable hard drives. Instead, they're collections of messy, unfolding stories. This good enough strategy is an ancient survival mechanism. Your brain prioritizes information it deems immediately useful. This is why you remember a stranger's life story, but forget their name. Names are arbitrary sounds that lack semantic meaning. They are isolated bits of information with no connectivity. But stories are the social glue of our species. Humans have evolved to track relationships and behaviors. We do not care about abstract identifiers. We care about the why and the how. When you meet someone new, your brain is working overtime. You are reading their face and registering their tone. You are calculating your own social standing. Your prefrontal cortex is essentially juggling 6 things at once. Into that cognitive chaos, someone hands you an arbitrary sound. Hi, I'm Kevin. Kevin doesn't mean anything to your survival. It doesn't trigger a concept or an association. It sits isolated in your working memory. Your brain is too busy to babysit a rootless syllable. It performs a quick, good enough pass on the label. Then it bulldozes straight over it to focus on the connection. This creates a psychological trap called the Baker-Baker paradox. Imagine I tell you a man is a baker. Your brain immediately lights up with associations. You think of flour, warm bread, and early mornings. Now, imagine I tell you the man's surname is Baker. That same word suddenly becomes an isolated, rootless label. As a name, Baker has no emotional hook. It sits in your working memory like a piece of dry data. Your brain preferentially holds on to things that mean something. Information with semantic content is much easier to retrieve. Names are like the order of service at a funeral. The stories are the actual experience. You forget the printed text, but remember who cried. This is not a memory failure. It is a retrieval issue caused by semantic vacuum. Your memory is doing exactly what it was built to do. It is prioritizing meaning, context, and relevance over labels. Comprehension errors happen in your social life, too. Have you ever had a colleague tell you about Sandra? You heard the name Sandra, but your mind pulled up Erica. You spent the entire conversation building memories about the wrong person. Later, you have to go back and rewrite your history. This is another version of the good enough pass. Your brain checked the work friend category and stopped looking. This is even worse during the next in line effect. When you are waiting to speak in a group, you stop listening. You're so busy editing your own response that you blank. You are essentially half a step into the future. You don't have a memory problem. You have a preoccupation problem. Your nervous system is bracing for a connection instead of relaxing. This good enough architecture extends into how we find truth. Humans do not weigh evidence like a mathematical calculator. We use the story model to construct mental simulations. Juries crave internal consistency over isolated data points. We select relevant facts and fill in the gaps with assumptions. Your version of the truth is just the narrative that feels complete. This is because emotional experiences are sticky. Emotional arousal acts like a master conductor for your brain. It forces separate networks to play in perfect harmony. This integrated state makes a memory stick like superglue. High emotion makes a fact 22 times more likely to stay. Your pain is not a glitch in the system. It is your brain's way of ensuring you never forget the lesson. For the Gen X or Xennial brain, this intuition is even deeper. You grew up in an analog world with physical costs. Knowledge required effort, like hunting through a card catalog. Cognitive psychologists call this deep encoding. Information that takes effort to obtain becomes more permanent. You learn to solve problems with patience and a screwdriver. This built a mechanical intuition that values depth over speed. You remember the peace of being genuinely unreachable. You know that being visible also means being vulnerable. Your good enough pass is calibrated for a slower, more intentional world. You prefer the biography of an object over its barcode. So how do you override this biological energy-saving mode? You have to manually build the associations your brain ignores. Psychologists suggest a technique called ASAR. Attend, say, associate, and retrieve. First, give the new name your full attention. Then, say it back immediately to strengthen the encoding. Associate the name with something vivid or unusual. If you meet a Sally, imagine her eating a giant salad. You can also use the method of loci from ancient Greece. Mentally place names in a familiar room of your home. This uses your spatial memory to organize abstract data. You are essentially constructing a little bridge in your mind. It takes manual work to satisfy your narrative-hungry brain. If you struggle with names, your memory is working perfectly. It is a survival masterpiece trained by necessity. It values the real stuff of who a person is. It prefers the texture of a conversation over a label. A name is just an arbitrary sound assigned at birth. It was given to you before you did anything worth remembering. The story of your life is what actually matters. You are not absent-minded or dismissive of others. You are a lighthouse that remembers the darkness of the storm. You cherish the peace of a deep, emotional connection. Your brain is simply waiting for a better story to tell. Stop feeling guilty for your biological design. Use these manual tools to honor the people you meet. Focus on the narrative, and the data will follow. Your brain isn't failing you. It's just looking for meaning. Life is both beautiful and brutal in the same breath. Honor the spirit, and the names will eventually find their place.